do, let's pick up the dark blue pencil. And as you see, I'm just roughly going over Shaggy's fingers here in dark blue. I don't know why I'm starting at the bottom, but I guess because that's where I finished drawing the light blue. I start with the dark blue just on top of the light blue. And wherever I left off, that's where I pick up again. That's just how I work. Now, that doesn't mean that that's how you have to work. You do the way you want to do it. And I'm just keeping everything flowing nice and easy, not getting a lot of hard line, straight lines here. Everything is a very, not delicate, but everything has lots of nice, pleasing shapes to it. Here's the arms going in, not too much fat on the bottom of the arm. So now I jump to the t-shirt just to put in the dark lines of where the t-shirt is. And there's his pants. Go back up to the top of the shirt and let's do the sleeves, back of the neck. Like I said, I'm just roughly darkening this in. We're going to go over it in black pencil after this. A couple of different black pencils, matter of fact. But this just helps us figure out, well, which line exactly do I want to darken in when I do put down the dark lines. It's just another dark blue pencil here. And as you can see, it's a bit darker than the sky blue, light blue pencil. And this part here around the ear. Now, figure out the hair. The hair goes to the side, and then it cuts off part of the ear, and then it hangs down in his face. So keep that in mind. We'll check that against the model sheet later. Here's the hair that comes down on the other side and goes over his ear. Nice pleasing curves above the eyes. And then the top of the hair, nice curve on the top of the head there, that one cowlick sticking out. And the hair is kind of shaggy coming down behind him. So at this point, with just a few more strokes to go, usually we would hand this off to a professional assistant animator that knows how to really get in there with a nice clean line and make this drawing just stand out. They'll make it even more on model, and the lines will actually reflect light. Now, this paper doesn't really lend itself to that. This is very thin tracing paper, animation tracing paper, basically, left over from way back when there was a lot of TV commercial work in town to do. Those types of projects, commercials, demanded a certain type of drawing and exactness in the assistant work. So they had better paper. It probably usually costs a little bit more than some other papers that some of the other studios used. So here, still just tightening up on the lines with the darker blue pencil. And let's get that sleeve in there, make that just right. This really sagging, baggy t-shirt that he wears. Because he's a beatnik, they wore sweatshirts with the sleeves cut off. That's what Maynard wore in Dobie Gillis. So let's put aside our blues here and start darkening in. I think this is a 6B pencil by Faber Castell. And with a 6B, you don't have to press all that hard, so you can just lightly go over stuff and you get a nice, clean, dark line with it. And just doing the back of the hair. As you can see, I'm thickening up some of the lines just because you want to make sure that those lines stand out a lot. So I did the top of the head, but I thought, it needs to be rounder on top. So I put another line on top just to get that roundness for the top of the hair. And as you do it, you just fill in between the two lines. And it makes sure that people know that this is the end of the character. And what you want, usually when you do cleanup, is a variety of line weight thicknesses, so that the outside lines are a little bit thicker than the interior lines of the character. It's a natural thing to do when you do assistant animation in comic books, that you make the lines a little bit thinner and thicker here and there. It's a very subtle thing. A lot of times it doesn't really show up on screen, but if you're doing still drawings, publicity drawings, licensing, it shows up there. If you're doing coloring books, it shows up there. So depending on the project, get used to doing this type of line work, where some lines are thick, some lines are thin, but always keep in mind to use nice sweeping curves, graceful curves wherever you can. Again, depending on what project you're working on. You may be working on some science fiction thing where what's needed are jagged, aggressive looking lines. So always ask the boss, what do you want? You could be more direct than that. You just say, look, what do you want and where is your money? You pay me for this, you tell me what you want before I start working on it. Let's get all the ground rules set about boundaries of what you need for your project. Don't have me do the stuff, walk away, and you're sitting there laughing, well, let's see what this guy comes back with, and then we won't pay him. No, you find out from the boss, what is it that you want? Ask the guy up front, what do you want? If the guy just says, well, give me this, and then he just shows you a picture, you say, okay, explain what it is I'm looking at, because I'm looking at one thing and you're probably seeing something different than what I'm seeing. So let's get it down to brass tacks, what it is you're looking to have on your project. Now, if you're doing your own project, then you make those decisions and figure out, well, here's what I need for this project. I'm trying to project this type of feeling in the drawings. Oh, hello, kitty. Where would one of my demos be without the cat walking through? So, sorry I got off on a little bit of a tirade there, but I've had a few run-ins with bosses that didn't tell me what it was they were looking for, and you get back with the artwork and they're like, nope, that's not it. Well, why didn't you tell me what it is you needed before I left? And they never have a good answer because they just don't. So I got tired of that, and I just eventually just started asking the guy, look, what is it that you guys need for this job before I walk out of here? Double line there for the sleeve. Nice curves here. And you can see some nice curves here, sweeping lines coming down. I'm using an ebony pencil at this point, which is a nice dark pencil. Don't have to use so much pressure. And as I said before, I'll show what kind of lines you can do on different paper with these pencils. And it's fascinating how much difference paper and pencil makes for whatever show you're working on. And I'm just hitting the last of it here, the eyeballs, and the lid above the eyes, darkening in the eyebrows as we come to the end, and strengthening some of the lines so that they have a nice even darkness, thickness going around them. The bottom of the chin should be a little bit heavier just because of the bottom. And without putting in shading, we show the bottom of form by just making a thicker line usually.
Yeah, unlike some cats I know.
Yeah, bottom of the t-shirt, side of the t-shirt, and side of his arms should be a little bit darker just because that's the outline.
Yeah.
And the side of the pants. Here I'm going over his arm again. And a little thicker line around the hair just to describe that. So, as I said, we'll do some more different papers in upcoming videos. But for now, let's finish off Shaggy and we will see you again real soon. Keep drawing.